Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope that you are having an amazing evening. I am Haley Gray. I am the group owner of the Women's Entrepreneur Network, and I'm also the founder of Fiercely Marketing, which is a small boutique digital marketing agency where we do marketing strategy, ads, SEO, website, social media, all of the digital marketing tech stuff. So whether you're building funnel or all those other things, we do it. If you're on the live, give me a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Let me know that you are out there. The words that just came out of my mouth right before I got online were, do not fling brie across the kitchen. So while I'm doing this Facebook Live, there's a little micro drama going on in the kitchen, and currently at least one of my boys is standing on top of the kitchen table, dancing around, and the other one is chasing him. So we're going to see if we manage to get through this Facebook Live in one piece. So let me know if you are out there. I think one is eating nachos and one is flinging brie at the other. So it's going to be a nice, sedate, lovely evening. If you've never had teenagers in the house, especially kids that are having to do work from home, it is a particular treat. So tonight we're going to talk about SEO, ads, strategy, all of the alphabet soup kinds of things in marketing. And I wanted to do this live because I have been talking to several clients lately, and you know, a lot of times people come to me and they're like, I just need to do ads, or I just need to do SEO. And, you know, frankly, sometimes we get into these ads accounts, we start asking questions, or we get into these SEO accounts and we start asking questions, and absolutely nothing makes sense because there's absolutely zero strategy being involved here. And what do I mean by that? So today I was talking to somebody, and it could have been anybody. So if you see yourself in this, know that it's not, I'm probably not even talking about you. And they were saying, hey, I paid somebody to do SEO for my website, and they say that they're doing SEO and advertising, but they built this weird, funky microsite that really isn't my domain, but they're driving traffic to this other domain that isn't really mine, and it's really, really weird. So it's just this whole really weird, SEO, your elephant in the room, right? And SEO stands for search engine optimization. And search engine optimization, SEO, getting found on Google, is what it is, right? Getting found on search engines combines really, really well as part of an overall marketing strategy when you have a good website with good landing pages, a good funnel process, and you're combining ads and search engine optimization together. And they go together a lot like peanut butter and jelly. Doing just ads by themselves without having a solid strategy behind it is likely to fail. Like I was doing on my live last, we were talking about doing ads and the reasons that your ads are failing. A lot of times we see similar reasons for SEO failing. We get on, we start looking at somebody's SEO, and we find a lot of things on a person's website. And this is why it all starts with the website and your landing pages and your call to action. So first of all, what ends up happening a lot of times is we get onto the person's website, and first thing we notice right off the bat is that it's probably really, really slow to load. I can't tell you how many people's websites we've gotten on and it's 2, 3, 10 or more seconds to load a website. Y'all, you can't do ads. You can't expect anybody to stay on a website if you're driving traffic to a website where it's taking 10 plus seconds to load. And even worse, if it's taking more than 10 seconds to load, or even almost 10 seconds to load, you've got a little spinny ball of death in the middle of the screen. Okay, What's going to happen when people land on that site? Well, chances are they're going to bounce right off. So that's kind of a big problem we see. Another big problem we see is that some of these big digital marketing agency companies out there, and I'm not going to name names, they build these little what I call micro sites. They're like a reflection of your site, and they're set up to be indexable by Google. So they're actually setting them up to be found by Google, and they're running ads to these little microsites, and they're small and they're fast, and it's like 2 pages maybe. And they're set up to run ads and get calls and do that. Well, the problem that happens with that is, first of all, you don't own the sucker. If you have a insert large name SEO company out there doing this for you, and it's findable by Google, then what ends up happening is that Google starts looking at that microsite as your primary website. And if your social media and your Google My Business also point to that microsite, then suddenly your own primary website that you've paid money for doesn't have any relevance. And suddenly, you've lost control of the situation. Y'all, when you have a website, and I'm referring to yet another customer and yet another customer and yet another customer, because I see this stuff all day long. It really, really pisses me off. If you lose control of your website, which means you don't own your website and you don't own your domain, and let me tell you how many times I've seen that one happen in the last month, then, and this is exactly what happens with a microsite, or this is what happens with some shady website companies. It's all under the same umbrella, right? You lose control of it, and suddenly you're being held hostage. Your entire business is being held hostage to whatever somebody wants to do to your website or to your microsite. So if you have a microsite that you don't own and it's being indexed by Google, so landing pages are a little bit different, right? So if somebody sets up a landing page and it's set up to no index and search engines go away, that's a very different thing. That may be being set up because your website loads really, really slowly, or it doesn't have the capability to add landing pages. But there are, in most cases, these microsites are not your friend. Not owning your own website, not retaining control of your website is not your friend. Another thing I see a lot of when it comes to search engine optimization that drives me nuts, and y'all, you can raise your hands or ask me questions. I'm going to try to follow your questions if I can see them. And hey, Denise, good to see you. And hey, Patty, good to see you guys. It is not showing up on my main screen here, so, just bear with me. But, I see lots of things that are being done in kind of a black hat kind of way with SEO. So one of the things I see is like keyword stuffing on a page. If Google looks at your website and it looks like you're hiding keywords in strange places, or if Google looks at your website and it looks like you are stuffing way too many keywords into the text for it to read like natural human text, Google is going to penalize you. Google wants high quality content. And if you don't have what it thinks is high quality content, it's going to penalize you. The AI only keeps getting smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. So when you are writing content for your website, it had better very well be human readable. Okay, so then the next thing I see a lot with SEO that boils my buttons is that things like meta tags aren't set up. Alt tags aren't set up. The basic on-site SEO for a website isn't set up. You don't even have Google Analytics set up. And oh, by the way, what I see with some of these SEO companies is that they don't even give you access to your own Google Analytics account unless you demand it. And then they're not even going to give you owner access to your own Google Analytics account. They're going to give it to you as kind of a visitor to your own Google Analytics account. So if you leave, you don't have full access to your own information. Y'all, this is really bad business. It's bad business from a marketing side, but it's really, really bad business if you are the business owner, because you as the business owner need to own your Google My Business. You need to own your Google Analytics accounts. You need to own your all of it, your Google Search Console, your Google Ads accounts, all of that needs to be owned by you, not by some random ass digital marketing company. Your social media accounts need to be owned by you. Your Instagram, your Facebook, your Pinterest, you should have primary login for that. And the phone number and the email should be set to the business phone number and email, not some random ass social media manager over here or some random employee who doesn't have ownership of the company. Because when you start talking about business assets, you know, your business assets are your social media accounts, your email list, your customer lists. And those kinds of things are going to cost you dearly if you don't keep it all together. So when you have somebody do SEO for you, or you have somebody do websites for you, or you have whatever done for you, as the business owner, you need to retain ownership. One of the other fun things that I see a lot with ads, and this, because ads and SEO go together so much, right? Because we're driving traffic to your website, is that people will drive ads to the front page of the website. Y'all, most times that's not really a good strategy. If the front page of your website is not optimized for conversion for the particular keyword that that person clicked on, those ads are going to fail, right? If you have ads accounts where you're just paying somebody a flat $5,000 a month or whatever to manage your accounts, you don't even know what's being spent on the actual advertising. We've had cases that we've seen where people are spending $5,000 a month and only $500 was actually being spent on the actual advertising portion. The rest of it was being used for management fees. The other thing that ends up happening too, if you run into somebody, you know, here, a lot of times they'll run ads that don't stand a chance of being successful. Y'all, I'm at that point now where somebody asks me to run ads, I'm not necessarily going to just run ads for the sake of running ads. I may push back because the strategy or the messaging or the pieces and the parts just aren't there. One of the questions I was asking somebody today, but I had this exact same conversation a week or two ago, was, okay, so tell me, how much is a client worth to you? Well, a client is worth about $800 to me. Okay, great. That's fantastic. How much are you willing to spend to get a client? If you had to spend $50 or $75, would you be willing to do that? No, because I don't make any money if I do that. Oh, okay. So maybe we should be reconsidering what we're doing with our marketing so that you can afford to actually pay for marketing when you're doing it. But you need to be able to break down your costs per client acquired. The same is true of SEO. If you're spending $800 or $1,000 a month, you need to be able to track and see, okay, well, if I spent $800 this month or $1,000 this month, then I got 3 clients. Well, I basically spent $300 per client. Well, if the lifetime value of a client is $5,000, then you had better bet your bottom buttons that that was an absolutely worthwhile investment. If you're not seeing return on investment, then it might not be a good investment, right? So you've got to track the numbers down and make sure that what's happening is actually a good investment for you. And this gets down to strategy, right? Let's talk about serious strategy. Let's not just throw SEO for the sake of doing SEO. Y'all, a lot of people can spell SEO, S-E-O, and a lot of people sell SEO services, but it doesn't mean that they actually know what they're doing. And it doesn't mean that they're actually doing the work. And I mean, I've seen people who get strung along and it's like, oh, it's 6 months, oh, it's 12 months, so it's whatever. My website isn't really working. Well, guess what? They may not actually be doing much. So if you're not getting work reports that show what is actually happening in a timely fashion, then we've got a problem, right? So, you know that there are a lot of things that go into all of this ads and websites and SEO and strategy and all the pieces and parts to make it all work together. You don't just throw spaghetti at a wall and hope that the whole thing sticks. You've got to have a heavy dose of strategy. You've got to have a heavy dose of planning that goes into this stuff before you start. And hey, Farah, good to see you. Hey guys, good to see you here. So you want to make sure that your ads are going to work. You want to make sure that your search engine optimization is going to work. You want to make sure that you have a solid website. You want to make sure that it has a solid plan behind what you're actually trying to do with it. It's not because we're trying to be mean. It's not because we're trying to always sell you a new website, but we want to make sure that if we're going to drive traffic to a website, or we're going to spend a lot of time doing search engine optimization on a website, believe me, the cost of the website is like this much of the whole thing. It is that ongoing work of building pages and building content and building backlinks that is 99% of the work that goes into it. So if you don't start with a good foundation, nothing else is going to matter. And it's not going to matter, and it's not going to work. So just know that if you're having trouble with SEO, trust me, I think 98% of the population has trouble with SEO. If you're having trouble with getting your ads to work, trust me, 98% of the population, 98% of business owners still have problems with getting their ads to work. I mean, raise your hand if you have ever had SEO done to your website and it sucked. Raise your hands if you've ever had ads done and they sucked. Yeah, it takes time to get it all right. It takes a lot of strategy. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of discussions to get things to work correctly. And thank you for the heart. It's one of those things where SEO, ads, websites, strategy, all the pieces and parts take time to come together and to work out correctly. So I hope that this has been helpful for y'all. I hope you have a great night. I am Haley Gray. I'm the owner of Fiercely Marketing, which is a boutique digital marketing agency. You can find us online at fiercelymarketing.com. Check us out, book an appointment, book a call. I posted the link above, and I would love to chat with you and see if it actually even makes sense to do this stuff. You'd be surprised at how many people I talk to and we're like, yeah, maybe not right now. This may not be your best strategy at this point in time. And that's where the beauty happens. So I hope you have a great night. Y'all take care, and let's go make some money this week. Take care. Bye-bye.